I know what it's like to lose, to feel so desperately that you're right, yet to fail nonetheless. Dread it, run from it, destiny arrives all the same. And now, it's here. Or should I say, I am. Welcome back to Crash the Party. I'm Rick Drogo. This is episode maybe 8 because I'm really like that. I've been cooking every single day and I'm really enjoying it. I'm really learning a lot on the news. Crash the Party, that's the name of the show, where I'm just trying to figure out what's going on in politics nowadays. And it's not easy. It's pretty confusing. So right now, I'm literally sitting here at my desk working on a few things, and I put on the Young Turks, which I'm told that they are heavy left, but from what I understood, they said they were center. So I don't know. Clearly, from what I've seen, they don't like Donald Trump, but that doesn't really mean anything for what party you are. It seems like nowadays. So, anyways, I was just going to unpause it and freestyle it and see how it goes. So, I already gave you a little bit of my Thanos. So, you're welcome, because he's the GOAT, and we should all try to learn a little something from Big T. All right, so let's just check this out and see what's going on.
If you're Israel's neighbor, they will murder you and they will try to take your land. And then they'll claim self-defense and anti-Semitism. And every liar in Washington and every liar in New York will say to them, oh yeah, you're so right, you're our special little ally. God damn it, I'm sick of being ruled by Israel. Mongoose Dragon, I'm convinced that Trump's advisors are lying to him about.
So I've heard them say this a lot, that Israel controls us. Do you believe that? Do you think that? Do you know that? Tell me, put it in the comment section. Does Israel run us? From what they say, they make a real good case for it. But I don't know.
About everything, doesn't matter, then he's lying to them.
His chief of staff is an Israeli asset. She worked for Benjamin Netanyahu's re-election campaign. Every facet of our government has been taken over. When conservatives talk about the deep state, this is what they're talking about. This is what they're talking about.
EMET2 said, I totally agree with everything Anna is saying about Iran hitting Israel while the interceptors are low and taking advantage of the situation.
Yes.
Do you guys see what's going on here? All of you Israeli lovers, you think you got the whole world to love you? No, you got the whole world to hate you. Not because of your religion, but because of your monstrosity. Because of what you've done.
First comes strength and comes peace.
Wow. Well,
I can't contain my rage. Meanwhile, at the end, we're going to do Operation Joy. All right, Mr. Jump for Frogs and Happy Warrior. At least there's some happiness out there. Thank you for gifting memberships on YouTube. Guys, we do this together. You don't know, but the pro-Israel forces are constantly attacking our business. So, like, if ever you're going to donate or become a member, this is the time. You could hit join below. You could go to tyt.com/join. You could also donate through tyt.com/join, because the Israelis are vicious, and people who support Israel in this country are vicious.
Yeah, let me. I don't care. I'm.
wow.
Got fired from Real Clear Investigations as their investigative reporter covering California stories because one member of their board doesn't like my commentary on Israel. CNN doesn't ask me to come on anymore. Lots of opportunities gone because the mob, of course, came for me. They've tried to come for me here too, but we're too strong. And there's no way Cenk would ever fire me over my commentary on Israel, please. But financially, they've tried to cause harm. So if you like what you're saying and you want our voices to still be out there, if you can, please support us, because I want to remain free. I don't care about those other jobs. I care about this.
Yeah, so the people who get people fired and try to ruin their careers are the Gestapo in America. They happen to be Israeli Gestapo. And no, I'm not gonna apologize for calling you Nazis when you act like Nazis. Let's move on.
All right, let's talk about some more bloodshed carried out by the Israelis. Let's get to this.
Wow.
The dystopian wasteland you're looking at isn't Gaza, although much like Gaza, the devastating destruction on the screen was caused by the Israelis. This is southern Lebanon, where the Israelis also slaughtered Indonesian peacekeepers. Wow. Israel now claims ownership of the land, which conveniently, Cenk, includes a Lebanese gas field. Your 2 cents.
Yeah, so as you're gonna see here, they're destroying about 70 villages, including Christian ones. But we're not allowed to complain. Christians and Muslims must accept their slaughter, and if you don't, you'll be called an anti-Semite by our press. So you're gonna see here the unbelievable atrocities that Israel's doing in Lebanon. And so don't listen to any junk news outlet that doesn't actually cover the news. We're gonna give you the real news from Lebanon and show you the true face of the monsters running Israel.
So reporting from the Cradle and the Jerusalem Post confirmed that Israel has drawn a so-called yellow line, much like they did in Gaza, separating a massive swath of southern Lebanon that they intend to annex and keep under their control. It'll now be part of Greater Israel, of course. Weird how the Greater Israel Project keeps coming up, but people deny that it even exists. Anyway, so according to the Israeli army, the 10-kilometer zone includes 55 towns and villages in southern Lebanon. However, you should remember that if an Israeli is speaking, they're lying, because Lebanese researcher Ahmad Baidoun revealed that the area covers approximately.
You know, I like these two. I really have been, since I've gotten into politics, I've been checking them out. They're very passionate, obviously, and I like them. What I've been looking for is a Republican podcaster or news channel, something like these two that is like, but more right. Just because I want to see the stark differences. You know, yesterday in the show, we watched Fox and CNN, and they reported on the same story. Ultimately, they were reporting facts. That's good. That's what we want to see. But I guess it wasn't a story that really, where there was much to debate, you know. But it was a good exercise. I did enjoy it. But like I said, if you know somebody that's a podcaster or a channel like this that's credible and they're far right, I would like to see that, because I want to see both. You know, that's the whole point of what I'm doing here.
70 Lebanese villages, not 55, and you know, it's more than the 55 villages reported by the Israeli media, adding that the zone includes towns known to still be inhabited, the Christian villages of Ramish, Debel, Ain Ebel, and the Sunni town of Sheba. So for those of you who allowed yourselves to be brainwashed into thinking that the real problem in this globe is just, it's the dangerous Muslims, right? Like the Israelis they're not worried about Christians. They treat Christians with respect. No, they'll slaughter the Christians and they'll smear them. Now, it's a little more difficult to smear the Christians here in the United States because the majority of religious people in the United States happen to be Christian. But they have taken full advantage of the fact that there's a Muslim minority here in the United States. So for decades, they've effectively smeared Muslims as dangerous extremists that are worthy of slaughter. But in this case, we're talking about Lebanon, super diverse country that has a sizable Christian population. They're getting slaughtered too. So what happens to these villages? Israel openly declared its intentions to destroy entire towns and villages. Defense Minister Israel Katz recently said in a statement that the residents of these towns would not be allowed to return.
That is because they are stealing their land and their homes, the homes they lived in. They're going in and saying, your home is now mine.
Yeah.
Israel owns it now. And if you come back here to your home where you lived, where your bedroom is, where your kid's bedroom is, where you watch TV together, we're gonna murder you. We're gonna take your home either way. The only question is, to what degree we murder and torture you? We finance all of this terrorism by Israel.
So to get a sense of what Israel does to these villages, you know, and to civilians, let's take a look at this video. Let's keep my mic up and I'll explain it. So this video was shared by a journalist on the ground, a woman that I actually interviewed on the show, Courtney Bonneau. It features the Israeli destruction of the town of Aitarun, which the IDF is currently illegally occupying. They've bombed homes and other civilian infrastructure during the ceasefire and continue to do so. So there's supposed to be a ceasefire happening right now. And this is some of the destruction that just happened in southern Lebanon. And if you look at the map that the Israelis shared, right, the IDF actually posted this map on social media. It shows how much land they intend to steal, and it's pretty significant. The part that's highlighted in red is the part that they intend to steal. And I'm sure you can notice that the genocidal lunatics that were forced to fund even highlighted areas beyond the southern Lebanese coast and into the ocean. So that includes a Lebanese gas field.
Oh, of course it does.
So let's talk about that gas field for a second, because I'm noticing that there is some deception in the way this is reported about, in even the Israeli press. So here's what's going on. Open source researcher who I referred to earlier, Ahmad Baidoun, noted that the IDF's new maritime boundary fully absorbs Lebanon's Kana gas field, whose exploration rights were explicitly guaranteed under the 2022 US-backed maritime border agreement to Lebanon. Okay, now the field was previously estimated to contain up to 100 billion cubic meters of gas, with projected value estimates ranging from 20 to 40 billion dollars.
Self-defense.
Now
they had to take the $40 billion for self-defense.
Now Israel, as this tiny, irrelevant country, really has nothing to offer when it comes to natural resources, right? Which is why they steal natural resources from other countries. They're likely going to steal this gas field that we're talking about right now. Now, in 2023, an international consortium consisting of Total Energies and other major firms began drilling the field, okay? Lebanese officials were then informed that no commercially viable gas was found in the field, right? And this is what the media seems to be harping on. Like, well, they did an exploration and they found there's nothing there. There's nothing there. Okay, except, you know, as the Jerusalem Post reports, that was in an area of the gas field known as Block 9. As Baidoun says, the more interesting issue is Block 8, which is beyond the map, which Total Energies wants to explore, meaning they haven't explored the entire gas field, and it's very, very likely that it does actually contain natural resources that the Israelis desperately want. In fact, Dunya Basol, who's a PhD student at Bar Ilan University, says the following. This is an Israeli, by the way. Israel's new forward security zone in Lebanon isn't purely military. Look at the maps. It includes the Kana gas field. That's not incidental. Even wealthy states have to finance their wars, and gas fields help. If the occupation of this zone is meant to last, and it increasingly looks that way, Kana is an obvious way to fund it. So that's happening, that's going on. Netanyahu and his group of demons slammed Lapid's 2022 deal with Lebanon, by the way, granting them control over this gas field. But expecting Israelis to abide by their own agreements and promises is a fool's errand. Since the ceasefire earlier this month, for instance, ceasefire usually means two sides agreed to cease fire. Israeli troops have remained deployed in the south, continuously rigging whole neighborhoods with explosives while filming the demolitions and publishing them online because they're very proud of what they're doing.
You know, they talk about Israel like they're the ones who we should be at war with. But it sounds like from what I understand, they say we fund Israel and we support them. And like right now, I guess we're going to war with Israel. No, together with Israel against Iran, which I know a lot of these people are saying we are going to war with Iran because Israel is telling Trump to. But this is terrible stuff. And this is why I hate war. I don't want anybody to die. You know, all these, even Iran, people have said, well, Iran is still a bunch of bad people. And I'm like, well, that's a pretty big blanket statement. a huge, to me, exaggeration of maybe, yeah, there's tons of terrible people here in America. So, having to kill innocent people dying, it's just, for what? It's like, can we not live together? Can we not live cohesively? Can we not make it work? Can we not be roommates on this planet?
Sadly, the Lebanese government consists of fools. I'm not talking about Hezbollah. Hezbollah is really the only line of defense the Lebanese people have. And I mean that with my whole chest. The Lebanese government seems to be full of Israeli puppets, or individuals who serve as puppets for the Israelis. Now, what do I mean by that? Joe El-Khoury, who is the Lebanese Minister of Industry, made some interesting statements recently, Cenk. I want to read them to you. Here's what he had to say. This was from a few days ago, April 15th. There are two notions that we, meaning the Lebanese, need to accept from now on. The first is that Israel exists. Of course, that's the most important thing in the world.
Oh my God, Israel doesn't exist. Oh, yeah, it's got to exist.
The second,
it already exists.
I know.
Shut the hell up about it.
The second is that we need to shift from a culture of war to a culture of peace. Enough, the Lebanese people cannot take it anymore. I'm sorry, which culture is the culture of war? Which culture is the culture of war? But let me continue with what else he said. What is the price? That Hezbollah will have to surrender its weapons to the government? We welcome such a price. Bitch, you guys don't know how to defend your own freaking country. What are you talking about? Finally, he says, the narrative that the Israelis aspire to establish the greater Israel, which will include a part of Lebanon, is a false narrative.
So this guy's being paid by the Israelis.
100%. Is a false narrative. It is a thing of the past. People who peddle this narrative are trying to justify keeping their weapons away from the control of state.
Hey, Joe, or whatever your actual name is, the Israelis just published a map saying they're going to take portions of Lebanon and your gas field. So what happened now? No, guys, Israel's going to get one thing that they want for sure, which is they wanted massive chaos in the Middle East. So another civil war in Lebanon, potentially civil war in Iran. I don't know that they're going to get the civil war in Iran, but the civil war in Lebanon now is on the clock because the Lebanese government is saying, oh, please, Israel, give me more money. I'll sell out my own people. Just take our land, take our land.
Israel
I don't know if it's because they're cowards. I mean, look at what Israel did.
That's southern
Lebanon. That's Lebanon. And Lebanon's leaders are going, good, yeah, give us more, Israel. Please burn and destroy and murder us more. Oh, Hezbollah's the bad guys for wanting to defend Lebanon. Go ahead, mainstream media in America, call Hezbollah terrorists. And then they say that Israel has a right to defend themselves. Well, do the Lebanese have a right to defend themselves? Or is that only for the Übermensch, the Israelis? Are only the Übermensch allowed to defend themselves? Or are the Lebanese allowed to defend their own home, their own land, their own nation, and their own gas fields? And everyone in America will lie to you, the politicians and the media, and they'll say, no, they're terrorists for defending their own homes. For defending their own families, they'll call them terrorists, when Israel literally does 100 times worse and is the aggressor and is taking their land. They'll say, poor Israel, they're the victims. Now do you see what monstrous liars are in mainstream media? Everyone at the New York Times, everyone at the Washington Post, everyone at CNN, everyone at ABC, NBC, and the list goes on.
CBS.
All saying for decade after decade how the Israelis, as they take more and more land, murder and slaughter, that they were the victims. They did it in self-defense. What a bunch of gargantuan liars. They lied to you to get you to hate Muslims. Now it's inconvenient that Israel's also murdering Christians now. So that's why they never talk about the Christians. Did you find out about the priests we told you about yesterday? Did anybody on cable news cover it? In any of the organizations I talked about? They murdered a Christian priest in a double tap. They bombed a Christian home. The priest goes in to help along with the Red Cross. They wait for the priest and the Red Cross to show up, and they bomb them again and murder them on purpose.
Because they're terrorists.
Because they're the biggest terrorist in the world. But our media does a switcheroo and says, hate the Muslims, hate the Muslims. Soon they'll be saying, hate the Christians. Oh no, that's inconvenient. Because the Christians
So this is one of my problems with the media and what's going on now. So he said that they double tapped. They bombed this building, and then they waited for the Christian priest or whoever it was to come back, and they did it again. How do they know that? That's my question. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because I hear stuff from my friends and colleagues who are Republicans and Democrats, and they tell me things, and they say, so this, I'm going to tell you what's going on here. It's not my bias. This is just a fact. But my question is how do we know these are facts? That's my problem. Because this guy, I believe him. I believe what he's saying to me. He's so passionate. Man. But how does he know this is the truth? Because you're not there. So I want to support these people. I'm not saying anything bad about this guy or the Young Turks. Like I said, I like them. I like watching them. But I want to know how they know these things are facts so that they can speak so passionately about it. Because this is what I've seen my whole life. I've seen people who hated Obama and they couldn't stand him because he did this and he did that. But how do you know that? And it's the same thing with Trump. People hate him. Oh, he does this and he does that. And he's such an idiot and he's such a liar and he's making so much money. But how do you know for a fact these things are going on when you're just reading them off of your phone or you're seeing them on another news channel? That is my question. That's what I want to know. I want you to point me in the right direction so that I can understand how you can speak so passionately about these subjects as if you saw it happen.
Or your piggy bank, right? You rob the Christians, hate the Muslims. That's how it works. And the getaway driver is every single anchor on cable news.
Israeli rape when we return.
See, he's calling every single anchor on cable news a getaway driver. But how do we know that they don't just believe this stuff? How do we know that it's like as if a getaway driver knows what he's doing? A getaway driver knows that his buddies are there in the bank and it's his job to get them out of there when they get done robbing the bank. I find it hard to believe that all of these reporters in the news know that they're lying. Now, I'm sure a lot of them do. I'm not naive. But the fact that both sides have people that are so passionate about the same subject leads me to believe that they both believe what they're saying.
We didn't blow up
good.
diplomacy.
That's good. I like it. I got to really say how I feel and show you my quandary. Here I am, 42 years old. I'm gearing up to vote for the president for the first time because I never voted before because I felt like I couldn't make an educated decision, so I wasn't going to. Now, I probably voted when I was 18 or whatever, back when I was younger, and I just voted for who my dad told me to vote for or something, probably. I don't even remember. I remember being in a voting booth once, but I'm actually, now that I think about it, I'm like 95% I voted for Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he was not running for anything at the time. It wasn't even talks for him to be the governor. I'm almost positive for some reason I had to go vote and I filled in the blank and I wrote Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's funny. But I'm ready to vote. I'm going to vote this year or the next election. Because I think that I should. I think it makes a difference. And I want to make a good decision, an educated decision. And I need the help of my community, my people, which is everyone in America. Whatever you think, I want to know. I want you to tell me. I want you to put it in the comment section. I want you to message me. Make it be known. Point me to the right direction. You know, I'm on these news sites, and there's Ground News. I've been on there. But all of it's just words on paper, on a screen. All of it's just words on a screen. I find it hard to believe. You know? You might as well tell me Thanos is real then, because I seen him on the same screen. I read those facts. My name is Rick Drogo. Thank you so much for your time and your support. It means everything to me. I'm loving doing this. I'm totally open to constructive criticism and being told where I'm wrong. Point me in the right direction for facts. And like I said, I want to find somebody who's hardcore right that I can watch, like the Young Turks. All right. Thank you so much for your time.